Madam Deputy Speaker, I rise this evening, and in doing so I want to acknowledge Minister Street. No doubt in this place you are one of the calm and genuine and really authentic people, and I know that you stood and spoke for yourself, but for others in this place, in this community and elsewhere that might hear what you've said, thank you. It's both brave and genuine and really important. It's really important. So take care and thank you. Actually, following on from what the Minister has just said, sets a tone really for the contribution that I wanted to make this evening. And it was about something that the Premier has committed to in this place, and it's about our approach in this new structure of the Parliament, how we might work together, how we might be collaborative, how we might care for and support people in our community, no matter the task or the contribution they make. And that's why the tone actually I think is important that's been set here tonight to really reinforce the importance of that and a genuine commitment to that. So it's bitterly disappointing when in a frame of collaboration continued attacks occur in a really unnecessary way. Last week, or in previous weeks, it was, as an example, the Premier writing on my Facebook post something political in nature that he knew not to be true in an attempt to undermine my credibility. And in doing so, he was caught out. And it was confirmed and reported that, in fact, what he was saying wasn't true. And so I call on the Premier. Premier, you say you want to work well in this place. Then lead by example and do the right thing, as your colleague tonight has done. I don't know who writes this stuff. I don't know whether the Premier himself wrote what was put on my Facebook page. I don't know whether the media release from the government on the 12th of August that calls out to me to stop playing games the day they were confirmed that they in fact had been the people playing games. The media release finishes with everything that Tasmanian voters hate. That's exactly, Tasmanian voters hate the politics and the attacking in this place. Yet this afternoon, and I have absolutely no idea why, a media release is released by Minister Palmer, Minister for Primary Industries. And within that, for anyone that knows me, that's listened to my contributions, that watches the engagement that I have across the state and watches on my social media the support that I provide to the salmon industry in Tasmania, anyone that has watched anything of that would be surprised by a statement in a media release this afternoon that says, "A call on Tasmanian Labor to stand up for our salmon industry." I think that's fairly clear where Tasmanian Labor stand on the salmon industry. It's time for Labor to stop the rhetoric and actually step up and back this industry. Well, again, I think it's really, it's laughable. It's laughable. That's laughable. Not even the people that don't support the industry would believe that we don't support the industry. So I call on a minister where she says, stand up and support the industry. Why? Why would you do that? The issue is very important. There is a concern nationally about the Maugean Skates in Macquarie Harbour. There is a collective effort to ensure that as much can be known and done to protect the skate in Macquarie Harbour in Tasmania. There are people working across this Parliament and between the state and federal Parliament to ensure that all that can be done is done. Industry are working, scientists are working. There are partnerships happening to support the skate. Myself, in case the Minister's not aware, because sometimes the best work is done quietly. Building relationships, building connections, having conversations and quietly asserting your influence or understanding in an issue. In the time that I've become aware of issues with the Maugean Skate, I've spoken to peak bodies, each of the salmon companies. I've spoken to fisheries peak bodies. I've spoken to the EPA. I've read up from IMAS. I've in fact, and I'm glad that the Environment Minister is in this place tonight, I've stood in this place and spoken about the importance of not oversimplifying a response to Maugean Skate. And in fact, I've spoken about the risks of focusing on a singular issue when that could actually put the skate at further risk by not actually seriously and in a complex and balanced way consider all of the inputs that might be challenging the skate at Macquarie Harbour. I have written to the Premier and called on him to take leadership in this area. As the Premier of Tasmania, as the Minister for State Development, he has a cabinet full of people responsible for working in partnership to protect the skate. In his cabinet himself, State Growth, he has the Environment Minister, he has the Primary Industries Minister, he has the Resources Minister, he has the Energy Minister, he has the Local Government Minister. Each have a role to play to ensure the protection of the skate in Tasmania. To oversimplify and to highlight a political exchange in an attempt to attack and undermine does nothing for the future of the skate in Tasmania. I call on the Minister. Minister, if you would like to sit down and talk about the skate in a professional and in a mature way to see what can be done to ensure the future of the skate in Tasmania, I'm open to that. Premier, I've called for a briefing on the skate in Macquarie Harbour. I've asked that as Premier you take a lead, that we have the environment advisors there as well, to see what you're doing to support not only the skate, not only industry, but the communities of the West Coast. We've heard from the Mayor of the West Coast how important it is to have balance in this for all of the industries in the community and the environment and the skate in the West Coast. So tonight, I call on this government, if you are serious about your contributions and your commitment to working collaboratively for the best interests of Tasmania, Tasmanians, the environment, skate, industry, then actually take those steps towards that. Stop writing stuff that just inflames interaction. Stop writing stuff where you're poking other people. Start doing your job seriously. Take into consideration how important, complex and how much balance does it require in this, and keep front and centre the importance of the Maugean skate, because that has everybody's interest and should have yours.
Madam Deputy Speaker.